favors Falcons from standpoint. They went to overtime against W7 among Clubhouse at Reload, and they beat easily Wildcard on 7-3.
You know, maybe why Falcons have been struggling. One thing that I'm going to throw into the mix, and it's a very similar thing that we've kind of into invite at 24, and then we've seen for the remainder of 2024 that team just
talking about you're in. They're in. I was waiting for them to finish the maneuver before they entirely fought their way into the start. No time to try and do that as MACKO goes, gets the opening kill, gets rid of users, and now the flood comes on the back, but a second one is fed in. Solotov does trade it out with Liquefac and Akwi, finding themselves back and forth. Still haven't got out of the first minute, but now we've got one player left in a 1 versus 2 situation. That 2 minutes into only 40 seconds. Will they spray through? They don't trust the engagement. Good bit of motion. Can't get the connection. They're either side of him. No, he couldn't quite get out. There was the player.
Really good pace here, I think, from Falcons, just being able to move in and just open up all the exterior walls as quick as they can. You know, the drone work's coming in. Obviously, they can still rely on some of the big, heavy hitting operators that they have.
Try and get these positions, these keybers, this back line that they have built here. That Flores drone will once again force the player out. And there's the swing. They waited. They still get the Blackbeard. They go. Okay, the grenade does net the kill. It was close. And around behind them.
Oh, alert from Akwi. However, won't even get a chance to kill that player as Ghost has taken his head clean off the shoulders, but still in a dangerous position, and I'm not entirely sure that Falcons know he's there.
Well, at this point, they're all beneath to try and get the pick back up. Does. They're trying to hunt from underneath as well, and it feels like we're just waiting for the inevitable now, Demo. There's at least 3 day getting another, but
the guy over towards Logi, make his way into construction door, but really this is where you expect to see the furthest that he'll probably get to. And hang on a minute, a swing from the shield, and
surely not.
Ride. I mean, yeah, planting in front. The guy doesn't know about the second one. Okay.
Yeah. From yesterday, in fact, he's only managed 3. Spotted out there, obviously, but it was sort of, as you said, it is shaky. The smoke canister is just thrown onto the door, but they are being surrounded and encircled, blinded again. But look at Users' health there from that close quarters engagement. Lolo did everything that they could, but it just wasn't enough.
Very lucky to be alive. Users, he really is, and ShyCo just slipped.
They don't need to be the required point man that the shield often is. They can be a bit cautious as the players tip their way out. The Nitro gets the double. It is deep in their lungs before they hold on for this final 30, Demo. Another C4. And they just battered down the hatches here on the backboards. Snuck their way in towards the site, but they don't have the crossfight, although they maybe do with the pre-fire spray. ShyCo baits the motion. They have the watch on towards Dirt, and there is the free pickup, leaving just Teb left for seconds, and he is nowhere close. Bride and ShyCo, they've somehow netted it. The construction side and the fire and the smoke are starting to pop, so it's turning into a miasma of pain. But they have to wait, they have to hold, they have to hop and hope, and there's at least a drop and a trade out. There's Ghost getting one on the far side, but now as Users screams his way across the CC side of the site. They've got the plant covered partially, but no, without the control below. And behind Bride, 1 breath away from the end as Users just keeps on going.
Vice versa, it makes things a lot easier whenever you're looking for those trades. And finally, we see Falcons, they get that opening pick, they get that kill that they need, and a good player as well. They take out Akwi, the top performer currently in the side of MACKO. And yeah, I mean, this is classic from Falcons. They get that first pick, they start seeing weaknesses, gaps start to appear, and then they just clean house.
Well, the round comes to a bit of a startling end, and the half does is to point out that they have been a team that has been knocking on the door of success. That was a time where they didn't just knock on the door, they kicked it down.
But they've been playing against Tier 1 for ages, you know, obviously in scrimmages and stuff like that. That we would see with the nades, because nades combo very well with the gadget whenever you know where somebody is. A nade to root them out of a position is pretty good, and Lolo, though, takes a very early rest because it seems to be a quick rush. Very similar to what kind of...
it didn't feel like they went, this is the hold, let's do this to smash it. They went, we're going to do it. And it's not quite worked. Shaiko gets one more here and leaves just Teb and Akwi. A Nomad and a Glaz. Nope. A Nomad and nobody else. In a 5 versus 1, about to be surrounded. And they get a flawless round here. BDS, surely it should just be an easy ride out to the end of this series.
Yeah. Because Mira's been allowed up, I mentioned before about Mira on these external walls upstairs are a big issue because they have this kind of opening, and you can see Shaiko has just been able to get 2 from rafters, killing 1. There's no way. I
was going to say, do you want a short list or the long list? Because, well, there's not really a list at this point. The motion is making their way around towards... Lolo gets 1, but I don't think they expected Looking Fact to be there. And there was a quick bit of action, yeah. The C4, the swing on the door and hold showers, and you have this locked down. But it shows that they have options here. The hot pings are coming on a single player. They're going to go into it, and they do get Solotov. Sturdy removal. And a lot of time here, Demo.
Yeah, as long as they just play the trade. I mean, just sit beside one another player and then winnable crossfire that just Teb cannot do anything against. That's all they need to do, but don't give him ones. You know, don't be in a position where he can easily pre-fire you. All you have to do is just hang back.
No, come on, Falcons. Teb gets the 3rd, and you know, Teb is playing this well, but you look at the health, and I said they could just play behind Brede and his C4, but at this point, I didn't mean like this, Falcons. Brede is a big clutch player, but it really should have been a lot less painful to get here, and it's not quite done yet. Pre-fires the angle, but Brede... The 2 teams that came up, we'll just put them down again. You know, that's a bit of a football way of thinking, though, to be fair. But I don't know, I think MACKO, just because of their place... You know, potentially the Blackbeard or something else that could be a bit more
Blackbeard's
active. Yeah, is the move out here. And, I mean, look at that. The utility, I was going to say, doesn't net anything, and then suddenly...
Right now for Falcons, is it a case where, yes, that garage hasn't really worked for them. They're almost desperate to try and get a kill back, but things can go from bad to worse, and that's kind of what's happened with that swing coming in from Usus. And that will leave Solotov in a bit of a sticky position, but one guy in the door, you've got the Monty on the other, and it's only just Solotov does take out the Monty. Don't stand up, though. The guy's still on your doorway. He's got information on the guy inside of CCTV now. He has the pistol out, but there's the man.
They could have maybe punished on the back of that themselves, but instead it was MACKO sort of getting themselves into position outside the breach to bait the player to come back in. Not entirely sure where the other kill happened. Everybody's been pretty much dead at this point. A lot of rush attempts, and finally that sort of deadlock is broken.
On main stairs, so having that cut off towards the long corridor to kind of split the bomb site in 2, that's not going to happen for them. However, though, what a pick though from Akwi. Takes down that Mira. That kind of ground could be taken now by the Blitz.
Well, the Blitz is screaming their way in, but the fire's about to pop on pipes, and Shaiko dreads through Lolo. Solotov gets Akwi. Nadora's trying to do their best to keep them going, but look at the time, Demo. Ghost can't even hit the site in time, but this Falcons failure to launch yesterday, but the birds...
In those rounds, firstly from Shaiko, and then the next round afterwards from Usus, and of course Solotov, that was at the front of basically everything that was good with Falcons today. I don't think it was the most complete and polished performance. However, it doesn't need to be at this point in time. What they needed to do was just get 3 points on the board, get the result over the line, and then refine the performance from there on out.
It's great to see the reaction from Solotov as well. He had a poor game yesterday, coming in double digits. Yep. In the very first 2 rounds, he got 6 kills, by the way. Also playing on the Blackbeard, on the shield. So really instrumental.